Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming and taking a risk on me and the others in this group to be vulnerable, to be in a safe space that you may not be feeling it currently, but you will. I promise you, if you stay with us. This is a group unlike anything you've seen because what we're doing is actually being that vulnerable and authentic place for each other. Where in a world that is filled with fakery and masks that we've all grown tired of, it's just not permissible, right? To have a sense of safety because we're always having to man up in some way, shape, or form and not show that side of us that we long to in a place of relaxation and comfort where we can with the bros around a campfire or two or three guys just sitting around shooting up the breeze and having a good time laughing and talking about some real things. So that's the idea here is really I've wanted to do this for years. Just not just have another platform or something that you have to pay for, although this is inexpensive enough to say, hold on a minute, there's some real value and I'm getting way more than the $10 a month. And so you may be thinking, may or may not be thinking, why am I charging? Well, because if at some point you have to realize that, I've started free groups before and then I get everything under the sun because people just want to come and do their doom scrolling and then they want to cast that doom on you and tear you to pieces without even knowing who you are. So this kind of helps really put a firewall, if you will, in to a degree. You're always going to have somebody that'll pay the $10 just to come on and call you everything under the sun. But we don't pay attention to that, do we? We just focus on the good and what's happening in the here and the now. And so some of the things that you're going to really see and glean from is the fact that we're drawing other like-minded hearts and minds. And people from around the world are beginning to see right through the false matrix into the reality of what it means to see themselves in the mirror and begin to love themselves, even if you don't know fully what that means. Many of us are just still discovering what it means to have some sense of tapping back into our heart because we've been in our head for so long in survival mode. That might be you. It is all of us to a little bit of degree because we're in this human body. But there are many now coming together that have said, hold on a minute, I want to go deeper, as deep as I possibly can in this human skin and transcend all of the falsities and the masks that are forced upon us in society. So that's first of all, that's what you're going to get is just like hearts and like minds. And secondly, it's a place where you're going to find yourself openly dropping into your heart more and more. Why is that important? Well, some of you know already why that is. But for those of you that are still wondering and you've signed up and you're like, man, I just felt drawn here for some reason, moving into the heart is everything. You see, we, at some point in our lives, we encountered some kind of hurt, pain, trauma, wounding, and we began to move out of our heart because it hurt too much. And so then we moved further and further, the 18 inches up to our head, and we began to stay in that analytical mode that says, if I can't calculate this right, then I don't feel safe. So then we went into the mathematical equations of trying to calculate our safety. And guys, it just doesn't work, does it? Because somewhere along the line, you're going to fall in love with it again, or you're going to be asked to start a business again when it's failed several times, or, you're going to be asked to do something that is more in the heart because that's the whole goal of this being in this embodiment is living from our heart so that our heart can lead the head. The head is a storage drive. That's all it is. And it's programmed to believe certain beliefs and paradigms. So we want to heal the heart by being around other brothers that are vulnerable and transparent enough to be able to share their story and their journey to where it makes us want to open up and do the same. The more we do that, the more we begin to drop into that heart so that we can move into this new era of awakening that says we're going to heal this place. We're going to not only heal ourselves and humanity, but we're going to stop the famine, the poverty, and all the fighting and all the masculine energy that is in fact toxic. There is masculine energy that's toxic. It's the one that's mainly started the wars throughout history. So we're not saying that masculinity is by any stretch of the imagination. No, we're here to find our masculinity, but also the balance in the sensitive feminine side as well, the kind of the motherly side, if you will, the nurturing side of man, as well as the strength of man. So if that triggers you a little bit, it's okay. It's okay to feel that way. Just don't leave. We're going to discuss what that means to walk it out. I get a good picture of this where if you have a problem with just hearing, feminine energy and all that, just picture if you go onto Instagram and you follow The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, the movie guy, the WWE guy, and, megastar. He sits and has tea with his little girls with the little teacups, and he has tea parties, and he lets the little girls paint all over him with their makeup. So what we're saying is, when I'm saying being in touch with that side of you means that you're vulnerable enough to sit down and have tea with those that mean the most to your life. And it does not look foolish. It does not look weak by any stretch of the imagination. It is, in fact, the very strength of man when he can do that and be the beast, that doesn't hurt people like The Rock. The Rock has a good heart. And so that's kind of what I'm meaning when it comes to that. But we're going to share a lot more in that regard. So that's another area. Another area is we're going to talk a lot about finances and money and how we enter into this new earth economy that is upon us that says I don't have to work, grind, and hustle and stress for my money anymore. I'm learning how to enter in and engage the energies and the frequencies that I'm made of to where it does the work for me, and how I posture myself in play and joy and fun so that it literally seeks me out instead of me trying to chase everything in life. How many of you guys have tried to chase a woman and you may have caught the woman, but then it may have not have lasted too long because you're actually doing it in the reverse idea of what it was actually meant to be. See, when we chase after anything, we push it further away. And even if you catch it for a while, it may not last that long because you're the one that was doing all of the chasing. And that really excited the woman because she felt honored and she felt a certain level of containment for a moment. But then once you caught her, what did you do? So the higher way of doing this is to allow your match, once you begin to love yourself in that mirror to the point to where it increases and expands and sends the signal out to your match that's doing the same, and then you both come together. And then you have a lasting relationship. That's what happened with Amy and I 26 years ago. We were both doing the inner work, if you will, allowing the inner expansion to happen. And then when we came together in a level of wholeness, and we were going in the same direction. We didn't have two separate ideologies. We didn't have two separate callings, although that can work sometimes when you have two different types of careers, but it's best when you're in alignment, moving in the same direction. You both are a match, a braiding, if you will, that came together before the beginning of time. And then you just manifested it here in this time and space. So that's another area, as we're going to talk a lot about what that means versus survival and what we're leaving out of the false matrix as it crumbles. So then we're going to take deep dives into spirituality, not religion, but spirituality. It's what we're made of. We are spirit beings first, housed in a tuna can called a body, if you will. And we're gonna discuss what that looks like and the glimpses that you all have and I have of what that new earth economy and new earth world or new era looks like. How we bring healing to everything around us and everyone around us, and then so much more. So we're gonna have lives where I'll jump on and begin to do a live and interaction. I'll do audio messages. I have downloads that I get in the moment and drop them in. I'll answer questions that way. We'll also do live Q&A. We'll also do live, interactions where I'll pull somebody up that wants to come up on the screen, and we'll have discussions and talks and work through some of those areas that you may feel stuck in. And we're just going to have a lot of fun doing this. The main idea of being in this group is to have as much fun as possible and to stay in the play state. Why? Because that is what we were made for. So that everything around us begins to match in that frequency. Yeah. Yeah, fun stuff. We're not, we'll walk through some hard things to get to the fun, but hey, it's necessary to detox in those areas, right? To let those things dissolve so that we can arise in our authentic self that's fully loved and fully complete as the beings we are. So, welcome to the group. Welcome to the harmonic you. Welcome to the awakening that we are always in. All right. Thanks so much for listening. Please share this with somebody else that you think it may help, and some bros that may feel like, wow, this is what I've been looking for. And then we'll do it all together. All right. We'll see you soon.